A video featuring a taunting Abubakar Shekau, the leader of Boko Haram, admitting the group is behind the mass abduction.
And
he then boasts about plans to sell the teenage girls. Then the twisted reason, if reason is the right word, for the abductions. Missing for 3 weeks from this northeastern Nigerian school in Borno State, nothing had been heard about the girls until now. And anger has grown across Nigeria and the world at a perceived lack of government action to get the girls back. Nigeria, after all, has the largest army in sub-Saharan Africa. Fueling that anger, a member of the delegation who met with the wife of Nigeria's president to push for more action to get the girls back has been arrested. Boko Haram translates into Western education as a sin. The group, whose reign of terror in northern Nigeria has lasted 5 years, puts ending secular education, particularly of girls, at the heart of its agenda. It also wants to overthrow the Nigerian government and implement Sharia law and create a separate Islamic State. After weeks of near silence from the authorities, Nigeria's leaders are now vowing the girls will be returned, although admit they do not know where they are. President Goodluck Jonathan has also talked to US President Barack Obama, who has pledged to share US intelligence to help find the girls, as have other countries. The US, by the way, has designated Boko Haram a terrorist group just a few months ago. Meanwhile, Nigeria is beefing up security as dignitaries fly in to attend a meeting of the World Economic Forum in the capital, Abuja. Critics are pointing out that these protections are not provided to the Nigerian citizens in the north, which is regularly threatened by Boko Haram. Mike? A video featuring a taunting Abubakar Shekau, the leader of Boko Haram, admitting the group is behind the mass abduction. And he then boasts about plans to sell the teenage girls. Then the twisted reason, if reason is the right word, for the abductions. Missing for 3 weeks from this northeastern Nigerian school in Borno State, nothing had been heard about the girls until now. And anger has grown across Nigeria and the world at a perceived lack of government action to get the girls back. Nigeria, after all, has the largest army in sub-Saharan Africa. Fueling that anger, a member of the delegation who met with the wife of Nigeria's president to push for more action to get the girls back has been arrested. Boko Haram translates into Western education as a sin. The group, whose reign of terror in northern Nigeria has lasted 5 years, puts ending secular education, particularly of girls, at the heart of its agenda. It also wants to overthrow the Nigerian government and implement Sharia law and create a separate Islamic State. After weeks of near silence from the authorities, Nigeria's leaders are now vowing the girls will be returned, although admit they do not know where they are. President Goodluck Jonathan has also talked to US President Barack Obama, who has pledged to share US intelligence to help find the girls, as have other countries. The US, by the way, has designated Boko Haram a terrorist group just a few months ago. Meanwhile, Nigeria is beefing up security as dignitaries fly in to attend a meeting of the World Economic Forum in the capital, Abuja. Critics are pointing out that these protections are not provided to the Nigerian citizens in the north.
Bam. Greeting the words of Assalamu alaikum, which means peace and blessings be upon you. And I mention both Jesus and Muhammad's names. Peace be upon them both. They were both messages of truth and reality. I'm here with Alderman Jones, and I've been heavily promoting this. But he's going to be interviewing me. And I got to say one thing, even before we get started. A late happy Mother's Day. Because that's not a religious holiday, but my mother, she kind of expects it out of me. You might want to say Happy Mother's Day. I don't know, but happy Mother's Day. I'm going to send this to my mother.
Well, I say the same thing to my mother, my sisters, and the mother of my children.
Yeah, and I want to say it was tragic about these young ladies taken by this fanatical group. In my personal opinion, I can't imagine what they went through Mother's Day and what they're going through every single day in Nigeria.
I want to ask you a
Let
question.
me be quiet.
I want to ask you a question.
And this is for the people around the world. You know, the Underground Railroad is not just heard in Chicago. We heard all over the globe.
One of the things I want to ask you, do you believe that Boko Haram is an Islamic group?
I believe that they are Islamic group that is misdirected. I'm talking about that is not following the Hakida, are the teachings of the four minhabs in Islam. So there's a miseducation. There's something going on in their leaders' mind. May be controlled by a new world order force, and I don't even want to use the word new world order because I really didn't answer your question. I believe that they are an Islamic group that is misguided.
Well, I don't think they're an Islamic group because Islam doesn't teach terrorism. Islam teaches peace. And people ought to stop, and I want to see if you believe what I'm about to say. They ought to stop allowing people to equate people who are terrorists, not believers in Islam,
Yes.
but terrorists. Now, you heard what I said.
Yes, sir.
And then going to put the title. They don't say that about Christian terrorists.
Timothy McVeigh, who was
All right,
Christian.
He was a Christian. He wasn't called a Christian terrorist. All right, he was just a terrorist.
Yes, sir.
All right. So when it comes to the Islamic religion, they should do the same thing. They're terrorists. That has nothing to do with the Islamic religion. And now they want to try and cover it up and say, well, all these young ladies have converted to Islam. Yeah, you'd convert to Islam too if you thought you was going to die.
I understand. And you know what? You have to understand, people out there that are looking, that in Quran, there is no compulsion in Islam. And people that don't know what compulsion means, that means you cannot force somebody to accept the religion of Islam.
The only time that happened was during the time of Muhammad Ali, all right, in the Malay Empire, all right, where they were told by the Arabs to accept Islam or die.
Yes.
But that is not what the Holy Book of Islam says.
No.
The Holy Book of Islam says you cannot make somebody become a Muslim.
Yes. And you know what, people out there, you have to understand something. You may lump everybody in with this particular Islamic group. They have adopted the Salafi.
Let me correct you. Lump everybody in with this terrorist group.
That's right.
We ain't even talking about Islam when you talk about them.
And you know what? They are they profess to be one of the minhabs of Salafiyah. Okay, there are four minhabs in Islam.
Tell them what a minhab is.
Okay, a minhab is a school of thought. Fiqh is a school of thought. There's Salafiyah, Maliki. I forgot the other two. Yeah, because I don't want to say the wrong thing because I'd be responsible for misguiding somebody. But there are four of the fiqhs in Islam. And you know what, but they profess to be Salafiyah. And you know what, where I worship at, on 89th and Stony Island, Masjid Al Farouk. We're Salafis, okay? And the thing is, we don't profess to believe in killing anybody, nobody. So they're misguided, they're misdirected. And I don't understand why the government is taking so long to get these children back. And the reason that this is going on in Nigeria, because they do not want these young ladies
to go to school,
to get a Western education. Some say go to school, okay? And they're butchering people right now they're butchering people right now in Nigeria at this very time when we talk. There's no telling how many people they're gonna butcher by the time we put this on YouTube.
Well, my question is, you want to go to Iraq, you want to go to Syria, you talking about you want to go to Iran, and here are some people that are killing people who look like you and me. We should be doing something about them.
Totally.
Because they're killing innocent people.
Okay.
All right? They want to talk about the head of Syria. Well, what about Boko Haram?
Yes.
They're doing the same identical thing. The only thing it is, they're doing that to people who look like you and I.
Mm-hmm. But see, there was no fatwa called. Fatwa is a signal being called out by the scholars of Islam to do anything of this nature. Okay? But they wouldn't do that except in self-defense anyway. And I'm not proposing that. But a fatwa is the scholars getting together and making an educated decision by following Quran, Sunnah, and Sharia law on how things should be done. So they operate, and there's some that say that, from what I read, they're with Al-Qaeda. We got 3 calls.
Well, let's see what the people want.
Okay. Let me shut our mouths for a minute.
Go
this
ahead,
is y'all
caller.
show.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good evening to y'all. What if this is covered, like y'all say about the government, what if the government is covering this up and then blame it on the Muslims? And this reminds me of the British, so y'all doing a good job.
Well, thank you, caller. Next caller. Next caller.
Beat the drums.
Next caller.
Hello?
Yes, go on and beat your drums. Go on and beat your drums, caller.
Go ahead.
Next caller. Go ahead. Go ahead,
we go
caller.
ahead and talk.
Okay.
Go on and talk, caller. Go on and talk, caller. Next caller.
I was calling about, how you doing, brothers?
Peace to
I
you.
was calling about, what do you think about the owner of the LA Clippers and the actions and everything that's been done towards him?
Well, our show is about what is happening to our people in Nigeria. Even though what is happening with the LA Clipper owner is not no big secret. There's so many other folks like him in America, it's nothing really to be discussed. If you live here, you know that.
No, it's
Next caller.
that's just a diversion, my brother. That was a private conversation. A lot of us say things in private that we
Yes.
wouldn't say
Go ahead, caller.
to the masses.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
You got to turn your
Turn your
television
TV
down.
down. Turn your
Turn it
TV
down.
down. Turn your TV down.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about this whole situation, and I think the same government that said that they wanted to prevent the rise of a black messiah are not interested in going over there to represent to save some people that they were calling nappy-headed hoes a few months ago.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I see it as a diversion, man. And somebody in power made somebody in this new world order system that spans the globe made them do this. Okay, somebody, probably the organization, has been infiltrated by enemies on the outside make them do something like that. You know, I mean, who's supplying the guns? Somebody's giving them money. They're getting money from somewhere. Okay.
So you're saying that there's some individuals that are trying to make the leaders of that country look bad?
Yes.
Because that is one of the largest oil-producing countries in Africa.
Yes, sir.
And I've always been suspect of it because maybe they want some Western powers to come in there so they can take over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got another call.
Next caller. Next caller. Next
Yes.
caller.
Yes. How are you?
I'm fine. And yourself, my queen?
How are you?
I'm fine, my queen. Go on and speak.
Okay, we don't know.
Go on and speak, my queen. Go ahead and speak.
Okay, can I say something? Individuals, when you do call in, can you please turn your television down? Please. Because you know what? We're not, please.
Brother Cliff and Brother Jones, this is Minister Williams.
Hi.
And what I want to share is for me, woman of color, African descendant woman, and as a spiritual woman, I look out around the globe and I look at the history. Doesn't matter about the religion. My issue is the way that the patriarchal man-dominated world treats women. Now, some of these girls are girls. They're not grown women, they're children. And there is a tendency, as I look around the world, for women to be treated like this in many countries. As I say, I'm not talking about religion, but the fact that men do these things. Now, I know President Carter read the book of another gentleman, wrote a book about women, violence, and religion. So, no, I don't want to say any particular religion, because Christianity has done its dirty work, too.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you guys to address this issue of men and their need to control, dominate, and provide violence, do violence against each other as well as women and children. Please address this issue.
Well, Sister Williams, I'm going to tell you, and I want you to listen closely. The greatest being on the planet is the woman, because she is a creator. I can't create nothing. She is a creator. And without women, nothing would be created as far as human beings.
Okay.
And anybody who disrespects them, anyone,
Yes.
all right, disrespects their own mother.
You know what, in regards to that, man, to me, man should be head over his family and his home, but he should not abuse his woman, his child, but the man cannot be head over his household if he is not in compliance with the divine laws that Allah, our God, our Yah, put down, because he cannot lead effectively if God is not leading him. So I'm speaking from that sense in regards to that. But
So going back to Boko Haram,
yes, sir.
what do you think should be done? What do you think should be done?
I I think they should be brought to task. I think anytime, like anybody that does anything to a child, anybody, I think they should be put to death. That's a personal. I'm talking about that dastardly. That's dastardly, man. As far as I'm concerned, it's wrong. But you know what? But I don't know what the Sharia law says about it, because I believe whatever the Sharia law says, the Sharia law should be followed out.
Well, I understand what Sharia law is,
Yes, sir.
but I also say that
Okay.
they need to make sure that something is done about Boko Haram.
Yes. And you know what? I feel so bad. And like I say, Mother's Day, I feel so bad. Please, can you please show the kids, the children, being forced to wear hijabs to cover themselves up and say Al-Fatiha.
Tell them what an hijab is. Most
Hijab is when the sisters cover up. All sisters should be like that. agree with that. Without force.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim.
You see, you know what? This is wrong to force little girls or anybody to do that. And this is just as wrong as the Islamic brothers that are selling pork in the community, that are selling lottery tickets in the community, that are selling liquor in the community. You know that this is haram. And people that don't know what haram is means that's forbidden. So the very book that you say you read and you believe in, that makes you a hypocrite if you say that you believe in that.
Well, my brothers, the world is full of hypocrites.
Yes.
All right? You find so many hypocrites within our community that say they believe in submitting themselves to God, and all you have to do is go in their store and go to the meat counter.
Yes.
And you know that they don't believe in nothing that they say they believe in.
Yes.
But when you deal with the East Coast coming down into North Africa, all right, and intermating with our women, and they became what you call today the Arabs, what do you expect?
Yes. And you know what?
Now, getting back to Boko Haram, I'm not going to let you get off of that.
Yes, sir.
All right? What happened to the other girls? Because they don't have nothing but 200 and some.
Can't believe we just got 2 minutes left. We got 2 minutes.
What happened to the other girls?
50 escaped from what I understand. But let me say something to the news media out here. You know what? We need to focus in on this because you know what, they have a Channel 7, Fox Television, CNN, Channel 5, whatever stations you need to really focus in on this and act like it's not really a concern because you're not really concerned because these are people of color.
Well,
I wanted that to myself.
Don't you also believe in one other thing? And the news media needs to stop talking about Islamic terrorists.
Yes.
They didn't say that when they talked about Ireland. They didn't say the Catholic terrorists. All right? They didn't say in the United States talking about Christian terrorists.
Yes, sir.
They're terrorists. Their religion has nothing to do with anything.
Yes.
And they ought to get away from that, trying to turn people away from whatever religious belief they choose to have.
I totally agree with you.
And just call them what they are. They're terrorists and murderers.
Gaddafi was a good guy. Don't get conflicted. I'm bringing that up because he tried to unite Africa. And he tried to get them to dinar. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
And shalom. Okay. This will be on YouTube. Thank you very much. And next month, me and Alderman gonna have some type of surprise, and we're gonna try to get Perry Small from WVON to come on. Our Matty Matt.
Well, I'd like to have Perry Small. She's a black queen.
Yes.
She's the black queen. She's my black queen.
And Brother Salim Muakil is a beautiful brother, and I enjoyed that interview.
He's a black king.
Yes. And Melody Span, WVON.
Well, she's the queen mother.
Okay. So y'all watch the Underground Railroad. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30. And you can see me and Alderman Jones. As he said, you could just Google us up.
Yes, and you could go to YouTube.
YouTube.
And put in the Underground Railroad
TV. You could put in Alderman Jones' name and just press video. Put in my name and press video. And we've seen all over the world, and God bless the mothers over there that are hurting right now. But Islam is coming.
And one thing I say to them is the noble Drew Ali.